Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
All right.
Check, yeah.
Yeah, everything good?
Yeah, man.
I want to ask you this important question, right?
Yeah.
As a Red Devil, I know you know where I'm going with this one. Who do you predict will have the better season, you or the club that you support, and what's your reasoning?
Why not the both of them?
You're sure about that?
Both of we can trust me, man.
Own a buy from the transfer window. You sure?
Yeah, who you support? Arsenal?
Then no must.
Well, London is red in Manchester United.
But like that. What's your Premier League prediction? Where do you think you'll finish? Fifth. That's a humble. Okay, so back in Europe.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, I wish you the very best. Before you go though, I want to know your parish of birth because I feel like we're from the same parish, but I don't want to get too excited.
Paul Bogle.
Paul Bogle. Okay, St. Thomas. All right, so you know, so you have to pick up the people then from St. Thomas before you leave.
Everybody from Cedar Valley, man, and Content, Newcastle, the whole of St. Thomas.
My followers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning. All depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. I'll stuck to my gun. I did tell you guys I would give you a follow-up from my last live stream, and the headline remains the same. Does the JFF have a speed limit? I considered changing the headline, but I'm like, I don't think I do need to change it for this particular live stream. Maybe on my next live stream, I might change it, but I think it goes well with tonight's topic of conversation. Before I get carried away, those of you who are traveling home from work, maybe you're on the graveyard shift, I do hope that you make it to your destination safe and unharmed. And also in reverse, I hope that you walk through your doors safe and unharmed, because doing so is an underrated blessing. So guys, I have a question to ask you all. It will make sense as we go along with tonight's live stream. I really do want to know, for those of you with your 9 to 5, whether you're currently working a 9 to 5 or whether you previously worked in a 9 to 5, has being micromanaged ever worked out for you? Do let me know in the comment section. It's a question that I've been asking myself pretty much all day, like, you know, in my planning and putting together tonight's show. I've been asking myself, has micromanagement ever worked for me? I already have my answer, and I will share it with you guys. But first, before we get to that, I do want you guys to go ahead and answer that one for me. Has being micromanaged ever worked out for you? Do you get friendly in the comment section? It's there for a reason. So please do go ahead and drop your chats in the comment section. I'm sure it's been activated. I think I need to turn down my TV because it's a little bit loud. So yes, go ahead and drop your comments in the comment section. If you're watching this one back on replay, I do hope that you go ahead and answer that all important question for me. Has being micromanaged ever worked out for you at any point in your career? Do go ahead and answer that one for me. All right, so piggybacking off my last stream, we managed to get an update, probably faster than anticipated. I didn't think we'll get an update from the Jamaica Football Federation so soon pertaining to those, what was then rumors regarding Rudolph Speid's possible appointment as the assistant coach to Steve McClaren for the senior men's national football team, where the Reggae Boyz are concerned. So the widely discussed topic has now been officially addressed, thankfully, by the JFF President, Mr. Michael Ricketts. So Mr. Ricketts confirmed yesterday in a report done by Television Jamaica, so TVJ, that Rudolph Speid, of the technical committee where the JFF are concerned, has been appointed as the technical advisor to the Reggae Boyz technical program. Right, so let's go ahead and bring up that shared screen. I liked it from my last live stream, so let me go ahead and jump on and bring that up for you guys once more. I like having something to look at when I'm speaking with you guys, especially since you're all quiet in the comment section. So let's just go ahead and put that up on screen. I'm sure you guys can see this one, right? Similar to my last stream. Let me just double check to see if you guys, yeah, you are able to comment. I'm not sure why you guys are all quiet. Anyways, do remember to go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Do go ahead and hit the like button. And also, please remember to If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Also, head and kind. And DC, good day to yourself. I hope you're in good health. DC says, I like to work somewhat independently, so no micromanagement wouldn't work. It wouldn't be long until I get annoyed. Big up yourself, DC. Nitro69, big up yourself. I'm going to leave those comments there in the comment section. So there goes my first response to my question. Thank you, DC, for me. So continuing with what I pretty much left off on. So to bring us all up to speed, Mr. Ricketts clarified a few, I think, important information there in that report done by the Television Jamaica, right? So to bring us all on the same page, Mr. Michael Ricketts clarified that this new role presented to Mr. Speid being entails a number of things. So a few of those things include Mr. Speid being with the team, being in the locker room, traveling around with the team, advising head coach Steve McClaren, and also working closely together. I'm not really sure what all of that means, but hopefully by the end of the live stream, maybe we could all put something together and things might be a little bit more clearer. I'm still kind of like scratching my head, because pretty much as with everything, or as with most things as it relates to the Jamaica Football Federation, some of it just doesn't make sense. It always leaves you wondering, what does that even mean? And I think it's no surprise I'm still a little bit confused, guys. So one of the things that really confused me when I was putting tonight's show together, or to be honest with you, when I first came across the report there done by, again, TVJ, I believe they uploaded parts of that report onto their YouTube channel. So do feel free to go over and watch that in your own time. Once I have finished my live stream, I would play it, but the content to me is exclusive to them, so I'm not going to play their content, but you can watch that one on their YouTube channel in your own time, right? So when that announcement there was made by TVJ, one of the first things that came to my mind was like, so what is the role of a technical advisor? Because I think that is a very fair question to ask. I think most of us are wondering, what is a technical advisor? I think for me, I obviously can't speak for you guys. I've got the fan on, and every time I have the fan on, it makes my nose a little bit itchy, and it also makes my eyes watery, but I can't breathe properly without it. So it's kind of like a lose-lose for me. But anyways, so I think for myself, in terms of football, I'm more used to hearing technical director, and I think that's probably the same as for some of you there silently watching, or even you guys there in the comment section. We're probably more used to hearing technical directors as opposed to technical advisor. But the title itself, it isn't made up. It does exist in football, irrespective of what I just said. You know, we're more used to hearing one as opposed to the other. So to bring us all on the same page as it relates to technical advisors, a couple of the familiar names there that you guys would be known to, a bit like myself. So, you know, when we look at technical advisors across the board, be it at club level or international football, we can think of Petacek with Chelsea. We can also think of former head coach Winfred Schaefer with the Black Stars being Ghana, and also Dick Advocate with Feyenoord. So the role in itself, as I said, it does exist. It's not something that's been made up, because I'm assuming if you're not used to hearing technical advisor, you're probably thinking, oh, they're trying to pull a fast one and they're just making things up as they go. No, it does exist. So the role of a technical advisor, it does vary depending on which level of football you're looking at it from. So the examples there that I gave you, you know, club football and international football. So it does vary depending on whether you're looking at it from a national level or a club level. So a technical advisor is typically a highly respected and well-read individual who essentially provides expert guidance and strategic supervision to the coaching staff and the overall technical program of a team, or in our case, the federation. So as I said earlier on, Mr. Ricketts pretty much scratched the surface on what the role entails. But as ever, when it comes to Jamaica football, things just don't ever feel normal. Things just always seem a little bit complex. So that being said, even with the president giving us that interview there, fans are still kind of scratching their heads and wondering a number of questions. You know, one of the questions that even me, I'm still asking myself, what is the difference between Mr. Speid's role as the head of the technical committee and his now new role as the technical advisor? What's the difference in relation to his job description? I'm obviously not privy to certain things. I don't know the details of his job description, as I already mentioned on my last live stream on said topic. So what's the difference between Mr. Speid's role as the head of the technical committee where Jamaica Football Federation is concerned, and now his new role as the technical advisor? And also, how does the latter differ from the role of a head coach? Those are a couple of the things there that I really asked myself when I was putting the tonight's live stream together. So I see you guys there in the comment section. I will draw my attention to you guys in a few, but just let me get some stuff out the way before I forget. So in terms of the technical advisor, from what I understand, again, just looking at things from a international perspective and looking at other technical advisors and what they have done with their respective federations or associations and so on. So when it comes to that side of things, the technical advisor oftentimes help and define the long-term gratification in relation to the coaching philosophy, the technical direction, things such as your playing style, and also the overall identity of the national team. And you know, also you can go a little bit deeper. You can look at other areas of their roles that they would tend to, such as the youth development. So youth development, creating a pathway from the youth team through to the senior team, which I think is a given. That's kind of how you maintain your philosophy and your DNA anyways. And I think when you're talking about team development, that's probably what piques a lot of people's interest and gets some fans excited, because obviously they've seen what Mr. Speid has achieved at Cavalier in terms of helping to develop a couple of those players there who have now gone on to bigger and better things. Obviously, their captain, fantastic Richard King, being a perfect example of that. You know, playing under Mr. Speid at Cavalier, playing for the national team, deservingly getting a move to top tier of men's football in Scotland. Right, so that the example is there in terms of not just him being able to get someone like a homegrown talent like, you know, Richard King, or move, again, a deserved move out of the country, but we've seen what he has won on the home soil locally with Cavalier, right? So for some people, as I said, it does get them excited. But I will say this, and it is something that is often said in football, and we're having just general conversation, club football, or whether you want to call it local football, and this is not me looking down on the JPL, but club football, I think it's safe to say, is a different ball game to international football. And if we just focus it on Jamaica and the uniqueness that comes with those differences, one of the clear and obvious differences is that unlike local football, when it comes to international football, you're dealing with a different caliber of players. You're dealing with experienced pros. No disrespect to the players playing local football, but the experience is different, right? Because of obviously career trajectory and so on. Players playing in more developed league, players being coached by better managers, coaches, and so on. It's just a different ball game. Again, you're dealing with experienced pros. Will that work for or against Rudolph Speid? I'm assuming only time will tell. Or if you want to look across the if you want to look across the road and look at the women's program, and when we're talking about what could happen in terms of any fallout and backlash when you're dealing with experienced pros, I guess the Reggae Girls is a perfect example of that, in terms of what we've seen between the Reggae Girls and the Football Federation, and the fallout of what happens when you're dealing with experienced pros. But that's a conversation for another day. We don't really need to touch on that on tonight's show. Sorry if you're hearing any background noise in my through my microphone. If you can hear anything, let me know and I'll do some tweaks my end. So in terms of the advisory role there, where Mr. Speid is now taking charge of, I think the expectation is to advise the head coach, Steve McClaren, and the other technical staff, right? So he's there to offer his knowledge, his insight, and recommendations on player development, tactics, training methods, and possibly team selection. And we'll probably get on to a couple of those finer details as the stream go along. So what I expect, based on his role and nothing else, but what I expect is that he isn't there to coach the team, right? He can be expected to do other things, particularly what the president stated there in his interview, but he shouldn't be expected to get involved with the responsibilities of a head coach. And again, we'll talk about a couple of those responsibilities later on in the show, but a couple of those obvious responsibilities there is the day-to-day jobs of a head coach. So your day-to-day training, you know, your coaching sessions. He should not be expected to go as far as that, because that to me is McClaren's job. But if we're focusing on what Mr. Ricketts said in his interview, again, with Television Jamaica, a couple of the things that Mr. Speid's role entails enable him to be in the locker room, travel with the team. And if you're looking at those two points there, then I should think that as an outsider looking on, as a fly on the wall, it does pretty much sound like a hands-on role, in my opinion. And if I'm talking about the role being hands-on, then I obviously have to look at the elephant in the room, because I'm looking and I'm thinking there is an opportunity here where conflict of interest could kick in. I'm not saying that it will, but there's an opportunity there where some conflict of interest might kick in. And those conflict of interest probably is in relation to, let's say, your coaching development and assessment. Now, Mr. Speid might be responsible for evaluating Coach McClaren's performance, right? So he might be tasked with identifying areas of improvement, which is a little bit of a strange one, because obviously we're talking about the role of a technical advisor. And this is why I'm saying, what's the difference between his role as the head of the technical committee and the technical advisor? Because it almost as if some of those roles overlap with each other. Maybe I'm just thinking too deep. Do let me know in the comment section if you guys think differently, but it does seem to me that those roles there overlap. So if he is tasked with what I just ended on, will this cause the chairman, Mr. Speid, the chairman of the technical committee, to assist with potentially a hiring of a new staffing structure if needs be? Right, because it's no secret there that the before anyone from the Jamaica Football Federation comes out and steps forward and say whatever, I think it's pretty clear that they were disappointed, bitterly disappointed with the Gold Cup exit. We exited the Gold Cup at the group stage, and I'm pretty sure, without being privy to certain information, that they would be disappointed with that finish. So again, that's a couple of the things there that Mr. Speid, I'm expecting him to be in charge of. And another thing there to extend upon or expand upon is the talent identification and the development. And this is where I'm saying some more conflict of interest might kick in. because we know the conversation that is held around Mr. Speid as it relates to conflict of interest. So now that he is appointed as the technical advisor to the Reggae Boyz, the senior men's national football team under Steve McClaren, will we now see an influx of Cavalier players playing for the senior team deservedly or undeservedly? Right. So with his new role, Speid might play a role in, let's say, scouting new players and, therefore ensuring a consistent pathway for players from local football in Jamaica and players who are playing in various academy. He might be in charge of creating that pipeline so that, there's somewhat of a smooth transition from club football academies through to the senior team. Again, to me, that could cause some form of conflict of interest in regards to his role, his responsibilities, and how he chooses to carry them out. So again, going back to my last live stream, again, I don't have an answer to this one. Maybe you guys have an answer. Who is going to be overseeing the overseer? Because again, you cannot overlook certain things. I know some people are looking at it saying, yes, he can take the position because of what he has done with Cavalier. No one can argue with his achievement and his success with Cavaliers. I think we all give him his flowers. Me personally, I've already given him his flowers on a couple live streams back. So no one can argue with his success with Cavaliers, and no one can begrudge him. So it's not about that. It's about looking at some clear conflict of interest. So again, who is going to oversee the overseer? And that overseer and the person that oversees is obviously Rudolph Speid, chairman of the technical committee, and he's now the technical advisor. So for me, with this role, and whether this role then overlaps with his role as the technical, the head of the technical committee, only he knows, because like I said, I don't know his job description. So with that role there, his latest role as the advisor, the technical advisor, he, to me, is expected to bridge the gap between the coaching staff, the management, and the board. Therefore, basically ensuring that the technical decisions perfectly align with the federation's aim and objectives. But again, you have to also take into consideration that this is the same person who is also the chairman of the technical committee. So again, if and when B, because Speid isn't perfect, he's human being just like the rest of us. If and when B, say he does put a foot wrong, who is there to challenge Mr. Speid if he makes the wrong call? Is he just going to go unchallenged? Does he have the license to roam freely? Like, who is going to be overseeing the overseer? Maybe you guys have an answer to that one in the comment section. But like I said, I most certainly don't. And again, based off observation in relation to what we've seen in Jamaica football involving Rudolph Speid, and even sort of stuff that he has said in interviews from towards the reggae girls and also the Reggae Boyz. Now, I'm not saying that he is an issue, but given those hats that he's wearing there, be it with Cavalier or with the JFF where the board is concerned, and now he's a technical advisor, one could argue and say that the problem solver is sometimes the problem maker. Does the squad trust Mr. Speid? Like, does this Reggae Boyz squad trust Mr. Speid? That's again a question there that I'm asking myself, right? Because he, in this latest role, I am assuming he's there to provide solutions to complex technical issues that arises within the team, right? But what if there is a case where he is the root of the problem? Then what? Is he going to correct himself? Is he going to pull himself out of the situation? Is he going to give himself a disciplinary? Is he going to give himself a telling off? I don't think so. So again, who is there to oversee him? It's all well and good that his career is progressing and you can't begrudge him. One isn't begrudging him, but who is there to keep him in check? if he's there to keep McClaren in check, which is quite clearly why he's there, he's the advisor. I mean, this is not just someone who's a technical advisor. He's basically your boss, which is why I asked you guys that all important question at the start of the live stream. With your regular 9 to 5, how do you work when you are, how well do you guys work when you are being micromanaged? That is the reason why I asked you that question there. Only one of you have answered the question in the comment section. So if you guys haven't answered that one for me, do go ahead and answer it. How well do you guys work when you are being micromanaged by your bosses? Because this is basically what's now reality for Steve McClaren. Steve McClaren is now being micromanaged by his boss, and his boss is going to be breathing down on him every step that he makes. He's going to be watching him like a hawk, probably waiting for him to put a foot wrong so he can say, got you. Probably. I'm not saying that he will, but probably there is a possibility that that could come to fruition. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, how does a technical advisor differ from a head coach? Because I think those are pretty much fair questions to ask. But I think the main differences between a technical advisor and a technical advisor and a head coach, even I'm confusing myself. The clear difference there in terms of the roles that each person plays is the one that comes with the most authority and decision making. Quite obviously, we don't need to know the JD of McClaren's job description. We don't need to know the details of his job description, etc. I'm pretty sure we've been watching football long enough. We know that the head coach, traditionally, the head coach have the ultimate authority on a number of things as it relates to the team. So, you know, that be it the style of play, the tactics, the player selections, training sessions, and so on. But given what the president there, Mr. Michael Ricketts, stated in his interview and announcement there with TVJ, it does seem as if Mr. Speid has been given a more hands-on approach. His role is a bit more hands-on. Outside of that, staying on the path of comparing the two roles there, technical advisor, you're supposed to do what it says on the tin. You're there to advise. You're not there to command. Like, you're not there to be the authoritative figure. So no iron fists. You're not there to be the person that speaks the loudest. You're there to advise. And again, another clear difference there between the role comes down to, you know, the day-to-day operations between the head coach and the advisor. So the head coach, if we're doing things by the books and we're not changing things and not moving the goalposts, the head coach is the one who is in charge of a number of things. One of the most important role of the head coach is to take charge of the on-field matters. So, you know, like the day-to-day training, leading the training sessions, managing and directing the team. That's supposed to be his role. You know, that's supposed to be what he is in charge of. Again, looking at the tactics, looking at the player call-ups, looking at the philosophy, the DNA, the identity. That is supposed to be his role, not the role of an advisor. Be interesting to see how this one pans out as things draw closer and we get back into the swing of things with the World Cup qualifiers pretty much knocking on our doors. It'll be interesting to see how this one works out. Who's going to be the one in charge? Who's going to be shouting orders from the touchline? Because if he is allowed in the locker room and he is expected to be in the locker room traveling with the team, I should expect that he's also going to be on the touchline. Right? I should expect that Mr. Speid would also be on the touchline. So looking at the announcement there again with Rudolph Speid and the Reggae Boyz, for me, I think there's an emphasis on him being with the team and in the locker room. right? And also obviously advising Steve McClaren. So again, to me, just focusing on a few of those things there, it does seem like a pretty hands-on role that he's been given. And I think this level of involvement, for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it does create somewhat of a blurred line. And I think those blurred lines there, it's very fair to say that it is subject to a debate, especially when you know what we know of Speid, everything that's been reported on him, you know, when he comes out and he speaks in the media, be it traditional media or new media, hitting people with iron fists and dealing with situations with iron fists and so on. I think it is one there that does cause you to wonder, particularly when we're talking about the potential of power dynamics between the advisor and the head coach. Right? Again, just looking at the way that Mr. Speid has handled himself in the media, we can only judge him based on what we have seen of him. And the way that he has handled himself in the media, again, traditional media or new media, so that is, you know, your radio stations, your YouTube channels, and so on. I think it does make a lot of us wonder how this one could pan out as it relates to, again, potential power dynamics between the advisor, technical advisor, Mr. Rudolph Speid, and the head coach, Steve McClaren. And I do feel sorry for Steve McClaren. I do wonder, like, what is going through your head? What is going through your head? You are now going to be managed every step of the way, every step that you make by your boss. He's coming to work with you. Your boss will be coming to work with you. I'm not sure if that has ever happened in his career before. If memory serves me well, listening to that interview there on television Jamaica, paraphrasing, I believe that the president stated that everyone is all on the same page. And I think he made it came across as this is something that Steve McClaren is happy with. I mean, he's not going to say otherwise, is he? He's not going to be saying, no, he's not pleased with that. To be honest with you, I don't believe that he is happy with it. I doubt that he's happy with it, because I don't know many people who like or enjoy being micromanaged. And at his age, I'm not saying that he's stuck in his ways, but they say bend the tree from its young. Bend the tree from it young. Steve McClaren is what, 64 years old? You're going to be micromanaging a 64-year-old, and you think that that's going to go well? And you think that a 64-year-old who has worked with arguably the greatest manager ever, that be it Sir Alex Ferguson and Manchester United, where he has won accolades with said club, Champions League, English champions, FA Cup winner, you'll think that he's going to be comfortable with being micromanaged at this point of his career. And obviously he's won individual accolades away from Manchester United as well. Do you think at 64 years old, now is the time to be going to work with him and holding his hands and all is going to be well? I think that's something that is new to him. I think that is probably a new experience. I'm not sure how well that's going to go down in the changing room in terms of any relationship building or relationship breakdown there with the Jamaica Football Federation and, Mr. Ricketts and also Rudolph Speid. It gives us, it's coming across as selfishness, greed, and it's just being, it's quite nasty. I think it's quite nasty. I think you appointed him to do a job, let him do his job. If you don't trust him, then fire him. But you probably don't want to fire him because you know the payout is something that you don't particularly want to do. So what other way to go about doing things? Probably wait for him to slip up. And come to some form of mutual agreement. And then, he packs his bag, he goes, someone else comes in as an interim head coach. Probably won't need to look far for an interim head coach because you already have a head coach there. You already have a coach there with accolades in his back pocket. So I think it's nasty work. I think, if you no longer want him as the head coach for the senior men's national team, then just be upfront about it. Don't be sneaky, because this does come across as being extremely sneaky. It just comes across as a stepping stone. It just comes across as being a stepping stone, and it's only going to lead to one thing. In some people's eyes, in a lot of people's eyes, this is only going to lead to one thing. And for some people, it's a case of it's going to lead to Mr. Speid eventually being the head coach of the Reggae Boyz. So it's interesting times, but I do feel sorry for McClaren, irrespective of how or what people might think of them. Would you like it being done to you? Probably not. And also another thing that really puzzles me with this appointment here, where Mr. Speid is the advisor. So he is the advisor to McClaren. 64-year-old McClaren. Speid is going to be his advisor. I think the best advisor McClaren's ever had in his career, no doubt, is Sir Alex Ferguson, right? So how much can Mr. Speid really advise a manager who's out succeeded him? And that's not debatable. You guys can debate with it if you want, but it's not debatable. He has out succeeded him. So how much can he advise a manager who has out succeeded him? What are you going to advise him on? How to win the Jamaica Premier League? What is it that you're going to advise McClaren on? And again, put aside your personal feelings towards him. What are you going to advise him on at 64 years old? 64 years old, Steve McClaren. He has won things. Yes, he has won things under Sir Alex Ferguson, but even away from Sir Alex Ferguson, on his own, he has still won things. So what are you going to advise him at his ripe age? That's something that I want to know. And also, when did the Jamaica Football Federation realize that Mr. Speid needed to be by Steve McClaren's side? Because essentially, that's what you're saying. When a person is being micromanaged, unless I am looking at this poorly, unless I'm looking at this from the wrong perspective, but when in a business sense, when you're being micromanaged, to me, it says that your boss don't trust you. Your boss don't trust you. You're probably a slow learner. They're not happy with your work rate. They're not happy with your input. And so they feel like they need to hold your hand and make sure that the work gets done. And I should think at his age, with all that he has achieved on his own, again, away from Manchester United, I should think that that must come across as a bit of an insult. It does feel a little bit insulting. Because when your boss is micromanaging you, oftentimes they do it with excessive control. They do it with excessive control, and they pay great attention to minor details. It's minor. It's not that big of a deal, but because they're there to pretty much say, gotcha, or I told you that you can't do it without me, they're paying tremendous attention to minor details. And that can stress people out. That can really stress, especially if you're not used to being micromanaged. If you're not used to being micromanaged, that can seriously, you can lose the plot. He's going to end up doing his head in. Mr. Speid is going to end up doing McClaren's head in. I'm telling you right now, he's going to lose the plot, because I don't think this is something that he's used to. And he's going to be getting educated by someone that has not out-muscled him with their success. He hasn't out-muscled him. If you're talking about accolades, he has not out-muscled him. He hasn't. He has not out-muscled him. So I think that's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on, in terms of what could potentially happen in the future in relation to those two and their relationship. And, going back to what I said with regards to when did the Jamaica Football Federation realize that McClaren wasn't the right fit, or that McClaren needed Mr. Speid by his side. Another thing that I want to ask the Jamaica Football Federation is, on the back end of that, what were the merits that prompted you to say to yourself that McClaren is the right person to hire? So what merits was Mr. Steve McClaren hired on? What were the merits? Because surely those merits should still exist. You see what I'm saying? So it's not really making sense. But as I said, as ever, when it comes to Jamaica football, a lot of things don't make sense. And I'm looking at this appointment and I'm thinking to myself, what does this mean for the Reggae girls? I'm really looking and I'm thinking, what does this mean for them? Because based on my observation, and this is not factual, based on my observation, it does appear as if both head coaches there for the men's team and the women's team, the senior team, that they have good respect of each other, right? They respect each other, they wish each other well. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, with Mr. Speid in the mix, and we all know Mr. Speid and the Reggae girls, they're like Marmite to each other, or perhaps not. Maybe I'm being a little bit polite, but it's safe to say that they probably don't see eye to eye. So I'm wondering, could this interrupt the what I think is a relationship between both head coaches, with Speid being in the middle, cause any disruption between the two, right? But again, we won't know the outcome of any of that, or the answer to that, until a later date. So that is pretty much all I have to get off my chest tonight. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comment section. David, big up yourself. Big up yourself. I hope you're well. Can you tell Steve who's on the bench to start the selection? First responder, big up yourself. Chrissy, he can't fire the coach just now, so Speid is there to make sure the coach takes his tactics. I don't like it, but if I'm struggling, I could understand. Oh, that's in regards to being micromanaged. I just wonder whether McClaren was aware that this would happen when he signed onto the job. I doubt it. No, I don't think McClaren is not agreeing to that. McClaren's not agreeing to that. As I said, bend the tree from it young. McClaren is 64 years old. You're not getting a 64 years old who has success of his own to say that he's happy to come and be micromanaged by someone who has not achieved as much as him. He would not have agreed to that. I don't think he would have agreed to that. Ricketts just dashed the information in the hog pen, and TVJ has no. I think, well, he was speaking with TVJ, wasn't he? So they did their job. They did their job. I don't think TVJ is at fault. I can't see where they went wrong. They did their job. Investigation. The next press conference is going to be a doozy. There is no blurred bad hiring and Speid making amends. So you can hardly quote Prezi. There seems to be an experiment. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Just don't bring the vibe to the Reggae girls. They've got enough to count it on. We don't need a bag of confusion. Yeah, be interesting to see how this one pans out. It is so disrespectful to the coach. Speid cannot advise a pro-licensed coach. This guy, Speid, is the downfall of Jamaica football. He is enriching his pockets, thereby Patrick Riley. So yeah, and we've touched on the accolades, and you're right. Steve McClaren does have a pro license. He has a UEFA pro license. UEFA pro license. So I'm not really sure how you're going to be advising him. The coach is not good riddance. And I'm not, at no point have I said that he's the man for the job, but what I'm saying is, if you don't believe that he's the man for the job, just be upfront. Be upfront and send him packing. Pack his bags, take him to the nearest airport, or tell him don't come back, and keep it moving. Keep it moving. Big up yourself, first responder. David J says, yes, they want the coach get upset. Exactly. They want to press his button. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to say too much. But I can see McClaren losing his head. I can see him losing his head here. And I think that's what they want. I think they want to put him in a position where he just loses the plot, and that's it. That's the end of him. Midnight Cowboy, I think this is my first time seeing you on the channel. Big up yourself. I hope you're in good health. So I hope that I have managed to help you guys to understand the role of a technical advisor, because that was the aim of tonight's stream, to look at the role of a technical advisor and to also speak about Rudolph Speid being appointed as the technical advisor. So the head of the technical committee, Rudolph Speid, is also now the technical advisor. You really cannot make it up, can you, DC? I wonder how much thought goes into selecting a head coach. I don't think the Jamaica Football Federation, I don't think they go through the proper application as it relates to hiring head coaches. I do worry. I worry more so when it comes to the women's and the girls team. You know, the I don't want my mind to wander, but sometimes I think about stuff and I think it from an outsider looking on, it looks scary with women's football. The lower down you go in the youth setup, I've always said this to you guys now, that one of my main concerns with the women's program is, are you dotting your I's and crossing your T's when it comes to hiring coaches? So are you doing your due diligence check? Are you making sure that you're hiring the right person, that you can say to yourself, well, when I hired them, there was no red flags. There were no red flags, and I don't have to sit and wonder about the safeguarding of these girls, especially the younger age group. And I just feel like that's not the case. I feel like they're not doing the necessary checks to make sure that this is the right coach for them. You know, that's a separate conversation with like girls and women's football. But even with the men's team, I just kind of wonder, what checks do you guys go through when you're looking at these hiring processes? Like, what merits are you looking at? What's the merit? What makes you say to yourself, that's the man for the job? Like, what makes you say this is the right person for the job? I can't really answer that one for you guys. What I can say is, I hope that you've hit the like button. It's the very least. Hope you've hit the like button. If you haven't done so, why is that? It doesn't cost you a penny. Hit the like button. It is absolutely free. I'm going to be closing off in a short while. So if you have any questions, throw them at me. I'm trying to keep this one under 1 hour, just because I think it becomes more digestible that way. So do throw your questions at me. I got about 4 more minutes until I close off. So throw your questions at me, and then I'm going to have to love you and leave you. Yeah, guys, throw some questions at me. No questions? You guys don't have no questions? Got about 3 more minutes until I close off. Let's see. Let me see. So, let's see. So, Mr. Jackson is live. So you guys can head over to Elite Sports. Let me see if I can copy that link for you guys. So you guys can head over to his channel because he is currently live. All right, so you can head over to his channel once I've closed off on my stream. You can click the link right there in the comments section, all right? See what you guys are saying in the comments section before I close off. Before I forget, did you know that the Jamaica cited... Really? You're joking. No way. Did they? No way. You're joking. Really? I want to see that. No, I'm not aware. Are you sure? Don't get me carried away. No, I am not. I love when my work is cited. I like when they credit my work. Oh my God! Wow! Oh my gosh! Oh, Daniel Blake! Wow! Oh my God! Thank you for letting me know. I did not know that at all. You've made my night. Wow! Big Jamaica observer. I did not know that. I really didn't. Thank you so much for telling me. Got cited by the Jamaica Observer. So I've been cited by, let me see if I can remember this one. Sportsmax, TVJ, and Jamaica Observer. Not for this interview. I don't want to confuse you guys. Not for this interview. Just a string of interviews that I've done. I've been cited for those. All right. So let's get rid of this. Oh, guys, look. This is the interview that I did with Natoya. This was a wonderful interview, I must say. I'm hoping you guys can see it, right? Jamaican middle distance standout Natoya Gold-Topping believes she's getting closer to her best ahead of the Tokyo World Athletics Championship in September after overcoming her injuries. And look at this, guys. In her first week of June, I had a nerves issue in my hamstring that caused me not to be able to train properly, Goal told Talawa TV. Wow. I cannot believe that. I am so shocked. Wow. I'm gonna see if I can bring it up on my phone. I'm gonna go and read the rest of that. Wow. Natalia Gold-Topping. Natalia Gold-Topping. Wow. Again, this is one of my this is one of my favorite interviews, just period. I really love the work that I did at the it's eluding me, Diamond League. Yeah, guys. And my interview with Olympic champion Julian Alfred. Love that interview as well. And I don't know about you guys, but to me, she looked like she reminds me of Merle Nutty. So if you have not seen that interview, you can go and click on that one. So Mrs. Gold-Topping. That's an interview that you guys can check out in your own time. And I think Natoya, she just has such a positive energy. Her energy is just lovely. Same goes for Genevieve Russell as well. Like their energy is just different. They just got such a wonderful energy. Always a pleasure speaking to both of them. You can go ahead and listen to, I'm calling Natoya the longevity queen. So you guys can go ahead and listen to that interview, the full length of that interview. I'm gonna put it down in the comment section. It's right there. Yeah, it is growing. Rasta paint things. I like that. That needs to go in your portfolio. Yes, it definitely will. I mean, look, I didn't know that it gained traction from local media in Jamaica. Talawa moments. Pick up all of the athletes that spoke to me at the Diamond League. Enjoyed speaking to each and every one of you. You know, the Sentiment native oblique Seville. Love speaking to oblique. Rajay Stoner as well. Love speaking to Rajay. Natoya, love speaking to Natoya. You can go ahead and watch back those interviews, and with Juju Alfred as well, Wayne Pinnock. Again, Genevieve Russell, also Zarnell Hughes and Dina Asher Smith. Lovely people to speak with. So yeah, it was a job well done for me from the London Diamond League. But that's amazing. I mean, thank you for letting me know, because had you not pointed that out to me, I really would not have come across it. I really wouldn't have come across it, you know? So I can't believe that. Wow. That is unbelievable. I'm feeling even more proud of myself now. I mean, the longevity queen, Natoya. So yeah, guys, I didn't plan on speaking to you guys for 1 hour, but this one is almost 1 hour. So if you've got any questions for me, chuck them at me before I close off. Send those questions my way, guys. Those interviews were great. Thank you. I mean, listen, it is, like I said, a job well done. I'm very pleased of myself. Very, very pleased. Very pleased. And if it weren't for you, I would not have known, because I just was not looking out for anyone to be using any quotes from my interview. To give you guys a little reminder of what we got up to, you guys should be able to see this one on your screen. Go ahead and dive in. Again, Julian Alfred speaking about the Merlin Otti comparison. This is my shortened version there. Uploaded this one, I think, on Sunday, something like that. There you can look at Dina Asher Smith, Zarnell Hughes. We look at Geneve Russell, Wayne Pinnock, again, Jojo Alfred, Natoya Gold Toppin. We spoke about quite a lot. Obviously, spoke about her longevity. This lady is a bloody icon. She's been on the track for over 2 decades. 20 bloody years she's been on the track. 20 years, and we spoke about, obviously, her longevity. Also spoke about period poverty. So Natoya is an advocate for period poverty. And we spoke about a couple of other things as well. And I cannot believe that I got this lady to speak for 11 plus minutes. Athletes don't really spend that long with you in mixed zone situation. And big up to Natoya. When I went back and looked at the interview, I was just like, we spoke for over 11 minutes. And this is after I edited the interview. I was like, how did that happen? When you're having a good conversation, though, it doesn't really feel like, you can't really feel the time, if that makes sense. So when I went back and looked at it, I was just like, how the hell did we speak for over 11 minutes? That's almost like 15 minutes on the clock. How did that happen? But I'm not complaining. I mean, big her up. This was after her race, so big her up for that one. And again, you can go and watch Roger Stoner / Seville as well. The man from St. Thomas. So yeah, Wolipa interviews to focus on, guys. So yeah, I'm happy with that. You know, interview being used by big Jamaica observer. Natoya Gold Toppin. Was not expecting that. Was not expecting that at all. It's Gold Toppin. Big up yourself, Mr. Lee. I hope you are well. Mr. Lee says, yes, you did. I was reading something there, Mr. Lee, so I don't even know which one you're referring to. She is a real hero for us. Big up Natoya. Yeah, big up Natoya. Big her up. You guys can see those selection of interviews there on the screen. You can go ahead and it's the word I'm searching for. You can go ahead and watch those interviews in your own time. But big Jamaica observer. Can't believe it, people. I'm so shocked. Yeah, all right. So I am going to love you and leave you, unless you guys have some questions there that you want to throw at me. 2 more minutes. I wasn't going to make this one 1 hour long, but yeah, I mean, DC stopped me in my track and she pointed something out to me, which is quite important. So yeah, guys, 2 more minutes with you guys, and then I'm going to love you and leave you, all right? I think if I go back over to my subscribers, who is still live? I think Ryan's still live. Yeah, Ryan's live. So you guys can jump over onto his channel. I'm going to have to love you and leave you. So again, I hope I've done you guys good tonight, giving you guys my thoughts on Rudolph Speid being the technical advisor. And I'm going to love you and leave you now, because I think we're done, right? Seems to me like we're done. Jeremy says, big up DC. Big up all you guys there in the comment section. Let's spin this one from top. DC, Nitro 69, David J, RR, First Responder, OK, Patrick Riley. See who else is in the comments section. Midnight Cowboy. Is always present. Rasta Paintings. And also Mr. Jeremy Lee. All right, guys. So that is that from me. All right. I'm going to have to love you and leave you. My stream's come to an end. Little longer than I anticipated, but I reckon you guys deserve it because I've not given you guys a live stream since my last live stream. Funny enough, on the man himself, Mr. Rudolph Speid. Hopefully, I have answered you guys' question with regards to what is the role of a technical advisor. If you're just tuning in, you're a little bit too late, but you can watch this one back on replay. Thank you so much for your continuous love and support. It does not go unnoticed. I do hope to see you on my next live stream. If I don't, no worries. I'll catch you on the other one, or perhaps the next one, or maybe the next one. But as I always say, guys, thank you so much for your love and support. It does not go unnoticed. If you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting on? It does not cost you a penny. Go ahead and hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And you know how it goes. Until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.